Hello everyone and welcome to a new video about Assetto Corsa Competizione. We are going to make a custom skin from scratch and we are going to use as an external program for it GIMP. We are going to start creating the in-game livery as a base. We are going to use the Aston Martin, so we put car name, the name that we want, and if you are going only to put some images around the car, take your time to create the in-game livery that you want. In this case, because I'm going to also in the later parts of the video paint on top of it, it doesn't matter which one I use. But for example, if you want to make a more or less perfect car, we can use this one because the number sticker is just below the mirror on both sides. So we know then in the wireframe file that we have all this space to put some image. So we save the car, go back, firm. We're going to go to my documents, Assetto Corsa Competizione, customs, and the cars folder. You can see there's a new file created. This JSON is the file containing the info from the in-game library. You just open it. You can open it in Notepad. If you don't have any proper program to open it directly, you can right-click it, open as, more, and select Notepad. You can also see it's the same. In my case, I use Notepad++. So we open it, we go to the second to last option, and we put the name we want the folder for the custom library to have. Case, we name it CDL boy, save it, close. We can delete the backup file and go back. We can also do before we can rename this one so we can keep better track of it instead of all the different number files. Keeping it renamed will be easier to find if in the future we need. So go back and then we can go to the libraries folder. We can create it manually or we can create it automatically by going back to the game. As you can see, it switched from the library I had selected. Go to custom, to Martin, select it again, and we go back to the folder and it created it automatically. Now, the next step is after we have the JSON modified, we can already start with the external edition of the skin. Like I said, in this case with GIMP. The files we're going to use for GIMP are going to be the wireframes. The ones I put in the link below, they were uploaded to their own Google Drive from Bunatics, another sim racers YouTuber. And we also have the wireframe for the BMW M4 in a separate link because it isn't in that Google Drive folder. So we already have downloaded it. It's everything ready. So we select the PSD, the Photoshop file that contains the wireframe, but also it can be layered so we can work better. Now let's zoom out. This is the entire wireframe of the car. As you can see, this is the front, this is the rear, side doors. All of this part are the carbon fiber bits of the car, the rear wing. And these white parts, this is the exhaust. So now we have the wireframe. We're going to start by simply putting some stickers so you know how I work for it. Basically is find a sticker that or a image that you like from the internet and then delete the background or cut it and copy, paste, resize, maybe some transformation needed, but nothing much. So we're going to open some of the images. For example, we're going to talk about sim racing games. There's no better sticker than this one. Another sim racing game, a proper sim racing game. So in this one, what we're going to do is delete the white background. So we can select the one tool, right click, hit delete. We can create a new layer best first. New layer from this and delete. Sometimes if it's the base layer, it doesn't let you delete the background unless you add alpha channel. You add an alpha channel, you don't need to create a new layer. The layer, we go back to the basic layer, add alpha channel. Now we can delete the background. So now it has the transparency needed. Now that we have the image, we can go back, select the external part. We can, if you only want to paste this part, we can go to select, invert. So we select the inner part of the image. We could copy whatever you want. In this case, I just copy, go back, paste. We move it on top of everything. To new layer. Now we can move it. Okay. So now it's on top. And we move the sticker if you want it for the onto the door. As you remember, the number sticker was covering under the mirror side. So we're going to zoom in a little. We can put it on the door. So basically, more or less, here will be the cut from one to the other. And what we can do is scale the layer. So we can put it 120, size everything. So now you shouldn't put the number sticker and it will fit on the door. To see the progression we're doing, we can hide everything, hide all the layers, only leave sticker layer, go to export. We're going to find the folder for the custom livery. So documents, Assetto Corsa Competizione, custom liveries, the folder, and we name it vehicles.png. Click export. I found these are the best options to keep the quality while also compressing the image a little so it doesn't lag when you are online for you or for others. So keep it at 1. It will keep the compression very, very small, but it will reduce the size considerably. So we export. Once it's finished, we can go back to the game and now the sticker should be around here. So we go back and we go again to the car. As you can see, the game is lagging because it's creating a type of file called .dds. That those files are the ones that contain the information about the deliveries, about the image. You still need the PNG that we created, but the game, for it to work, we also need the .dds files. There are different type of DDS. As you can see, we can go to the folder and you can see it. Right now it's decals/. underscore 0.bds. So this file contains the information in a 4K size. That's why it's 21 megabytes. And then for when you are in game, it creates another file with the same name, but underscore 1, that is a quarter of the size. Instead of 4K, it's 2K. So it helps a little to contain all the lag problems, because the livery, even if it's reduced 1/4, it's still visually appealing. But what we said about the sticker, as you can see right now, you can still move it. If, for example, you want to make it bigger and use the rear quarter panel, as you can see, there's a cut. There's also a cut in the wireframe. What can you do, for example? If you want to, we can go back to other steps with it. We can keep the normal size. We maybe scale it down tiny bit. You can see if you put it right here, the part where there's a jump, it isn't going to show. What you can do, duplicate the layer. So we can put the sticker in a place that duplicated. You can put the sticker in a place more or less with finish. We can put it at the start of the E, go to a duplicated layer, and just in case, we can go to the eraser, increase the hardness so it deletes properly, increase its size, and the tools option doesn't like to work today. Increase the size, and we delete, because we are in this layer. There's only this sticker. You can delete the sticker on top because it's in another layer. So we delete. Why it doesn't delete properly? Hardness. This eraser doesn't work. Opacity. Okay, now it works. Have it on opacity at 100%. It will let you use it as an eraser. So we more or less delete the part that was extra. And on the next layer, select the move tool. You can see it's more or less cutting on the second E. So we are going to do more or less the same. We're going to, before pasting it, the eraser, everything clean. Yes. Okay, now we can work. Now, as you can see, we wanted it on the second E, more or less. On the second. Maybe because it cuts on the back, put it a little bit above. And nearly the end of the E. And we move the other one. So it's basically like a little bit of trying to work. just on the border, more or less. So we can see the proper separation. So now the same, we can go back, export, decals is already there, replace, same save option, export again, and that was the change. If you try to do the same thing, it doesn't work because it already generated the DDS file. You go back, delete the DDS, go back and forth. You can see it's a little bit down. That thing can be moved in a second. So to the layer, it's the second. We move it a bit up for the other. Port as, else, port, replace, port, delete the decal 0 already. Go back to the game. And you can see now it looks in the same plane. It is an up and down compared to the other. So this is the way I do the decals. It's basically like you're using the basic Microsoft Paint. Cut, copy, paste, delete backgrounds, play with it with these simple tools, and then leave it the way you want. If you don't want to do this extra work, you can select the normal image and resize it only to fit on the door or on the roof, on the front. For example, the roof, it's pretty empty. We can select another sticker to put it on top. Also, a good thing to do is to rename the different layers so we know which one is which. Well, FS4, FS, so we know which part is it. So now for the roof, we can add another image. For example, I'm going to do a different thing. One of the team logos. As you can see, this logo already have the background erased. But if, for example, we only want the inner part of the logo, there's another type of tool that select by color. We can select the white part, but if not, we can, in the same file, cut. You can paste it on the other side. If not, you can also paste it on the same file and keep it as a new layer. And then you can move the layer to the other file. If you prefer to work everything if you were to work the image in a separate file and then put it once it's ready on the proper file, you can do it. If not, it's okay. You can select by color, select by actual selection. You can use the past selection if you want. These are all the other options. You can also use the free select tool. You want, for example, to cut, doesn't matter how good is the cut. There are different options for you to play, but the ones I mostly use is the fuzzy select, the actual one. Let me take all the selections, none for this layer. Just the one to select different parts of the image. Basically, it's mostly to select the background and delete it, or select certain parts that I want. In this case, you can select by color because there's only a couple colors in the image, and you want a specific part. Select by color, You can see and have it on that part. Well, back to the image. Up. You can move it. We're gonna need on the roof. We want it to put it in a different color. Then you can go to the bucket and select the color here. We want it, no, cyan. So select it and paint it on top. You can use there's the options here. You can have the rotate options, right clicking on it, rotate option, scale. You can also select scale if you right click on the layer, scale layer. Now, if you want to rotate it, rotate. You can have it here degree shift. So when you move it, it's by 50 degrees. Or you can also have it, if you delete it, you can select it how much you want. We go by 15 degrees, so it's easier. And 90 degrees of rotation. You can see. Okay, we select rotate, so it gets saved in this way. What more we can do? We can also add text. You select the text tool. You can put, for example, on the roof. You can select, for example, we can put it in pink. Go to the layer. You can select the type of text that you want. You want, for example, impact, the font. You can write. You can select whatever font that you have. Have a list of fonts. Simpler. I have downloaded a font that looks like a porch. We can select it here. 911. Let me select the test. 911. CDL. We're going to make it bigger. Okay. And then the same thing. Once you have the text, if you want to move it around, you can go to the rotate tool. Same thing. 90 degrees. You can put it on the center of the hood with zoom out. So right now we have the text, we have another extra logo, the left door logo. Remember, if you put something on the door and you want the same on the other door, what you have to do is duplicate the layer. Door right, because we're doing the left door. And then you can move it more or less to where it should be. And again, rotate 180 and you move it to side. If you do the cut version like I did here, you will have to do a different cut, because if you want to keep the name straight, you will have basically cut from different side. Instead of cutting on the end, you will have to cut on the start of the word, and then the end part will be on the other side. Right now we'll leave it like this in the center, just to show up. Them again, close the layers, no, hide the layers, export as, decals, export, replace, export. We go to the file, select the DDS, go in game, back and forth. Now we have the new things. You can see the logo, the big logo, the second one that we put, and the name, because we didn't see the number sticker. The logo is actually on top of the name. We can move it later. And now for the last part, what we're going to do is you can also paint it on top. You can paint it in two ways. You want to paint the entire roof black because the layer is transparent, so it doesn't look. We create a new layer, paint job. Okay, I know it's fully white. I didn't white it that way. Yeah. Everything there is. Forgot to put it transparent. Okay. Now we want the paint. If you want in a brush, I could say I want it black. So the difference. Just be careful to not paint over another border, a different part of the car, so it doesn't show. You have to go on a small brush, go here. It seems like I painted a little bit over. Now the roof is black, so the logo will show better. But right now, the paint job is on top of the logo, so the logo doesn't show. So the best part is the paint job, move it below the stickers, so the stickers will show up. For the CDL, as we saw, it was cut in the text. We can move it a little bit more low. And same process. Hide, as you can see in the wireframe, doesn't show because the black paint is on top. But hide the layers, export, decals, replace, export. Go back to the folder, delete, back and forth again. You can see the roof is fully black. Before it was only the middle part. The name now is done enough that it doesn't hide behind the number, and the rest stays like it is. So what we are going to do now is save the same file as a sponsor.png, so you can see the modifications it happens. So like it is, export as set of decals sponsors.png export same options, export. As you can see in this one, there is no Pirelli stickers, there is no black wing, there's nothing. It's only the stickers that we put. And as you can see now, it will show. It lags again because it's creating the DDS file for the sponsors layer. And because it's the sponsor layer, it goes on top of the sponsor. So as you can see, the wing is clean, no logo on the wing, no logo on the rear, no logo on the side doors, no Pirelli logos on the front. It basically overrides the sponsor layer. So what can we do now? If you don't want to use the sponsors that are in the game, the stickers, you can make everything on the sponsor layer and leave it like that. If you want those, you can keep it in the decals layer. If you want to put your own sponsors and keep it separate from the paint job, you can have the paint job or whatever big stickers or images that you put in the decals layer, and then in the sponsor layer only put sponsor stickers. So you can keep both separate because you can work with both. You can do it the way you want. If it's a simple skin, you can work on one layer. In the decals layer, if you want to keep the standard sponsor and the wing sponsor, and if not, you want to erase all that and want to keep the car as clean as possible, only having the number stickers, you can work on the sponsor layer. Just be careful that on some parts, as you can see, instead of black, now it's becoming white because the black part is also deleted. And that's so. And then for the final part, we're going to leave this layer, the sponsor layer, like this. We're going to go back, hide everything, go back to the one. And what we're going to do in applying something like we are applying a wrap on the car. Instead, basically, we're selecting a big image and putting it up top as a paint pattern or wrap or different design. In this case, I already found a graffiti pattern before. We open it because we want to use the entire paint. We didn't have to modify this one. If you only want a small part, you can select the tool, select I only want this part of the design. You can select, cut, paste, new layer. Now you have only this part. I say want everything, do, do, and that cut. So now it's clean, it's like we had. Can move it, top of the pane, as you can see, it's small. We resize it, scale. We can go pretty big because the entire car is this part here. It'll go pretty big on the image. As it's only a small test. We still need to be a little bit bigger. Like that. Scale. Move it on. As you can see, it also covers extra places. For example, this is the carbon fiber on top of the okay. And that's it. Hide everything. Save as. No, export as. And we export it as the decals. And we keep the images we put before as the sponsors to use both. If not, you can move this one to the lower part. You can make it show again all the images we put. So it's your choice, working with only one layer, the decals or the sponsor, or working with both. Right now for this example, we're going to work with both. We already generated the sponsor layer with the images. We only leave the pattern. So export, decals, export, replace again, same process, time and time again. Delete the decal 0. Go back to the game, back, forth, generate the decals DDS, new, and boom, done. You can see, you can select different patterns and apply them. Because on the sponsor layer, the black part is painted on the roof, you can see the decal layer can paint over the sponsor layer. If you only want to work with one simple layer, we remove both the sponsor layers because we want to, for example, keep the Pirelli and all that stickers. We only know have the decals. We can remove already this one too. Go back to the game. Click on the door, the top, and the CDL. We don't want, you can see right now, the black roof isn't on. So export as, equals, export, replace, export. and done. You can see no black roof, logo on the side, name on the front, the other logo, and all the sponsors that the car usually have in the in-game livery, because we are not using the sponsor layer. You can see Pirelli, Total Energies, the car on the branding on the wing from Pirelli, the sides. You can see right now I prefer with the black roof to leave it like the a final project, even though it still needs a little bit of work, but we can leave it like that. So save again, the last adjustment, last back and forth, and boom, black roof. I like it like that, so the logo shows more, and you still have the button around the car, while also all the stickers that make it look like a real racing car from the competition. You can see everything is ready. So right now we go back for the last part about the DS files. As I told before, the underscore zero is for the car selection screen, and for the in-game, it creates a underscore one. So we are going to join a quick session. It doesn't need to be online; it can be single player. And once you have joined, just to be sure, hit drive on its drive. You can see where is my mouse. Okay, now as you can see, it created the underscore one. If you also have the sponsor layer, instead of deleting like I did before, if you work with a decal layer and a sponsor, you will have decal slash share underscore zero underscore one sponsor underscore zero underscore one. So depending of how many layers you work with it, you can see the image. And these ones also are like images, but as you can see, it's 1/4 of the size because it's 1/4 of the dimensions. It went from 4000 by 4000 pixels to 2000 by 2000 pixels. So I think this is everything I needed to talk about. Instead of short, it went very long. But everything that I explain is what I usually do. I might have basically spent, instead of doing in half an hour making rough cuts, you can work more meticulously, cutting, testing. If it doesn't look good, redo it again and again and again, and until you feel the skin is to your taste. So we are going to finish here. I think this one, it make it for being a quick one, even if the image selected is a little bit low resolution, it will still looks really, really good in the car. So that's it for me. I hope it will help you guys. And that's it. Bye.